The first inter-VLAN routing troubleshooting target we want to talk about is using a router on a trunk topology. Let's say that we've got a switch and we've got a couple of devices connected to that switch. Let's say that we've got PCs belonging to different VLANs. And let's say that this PC is in VLAN 100. This PC is in VLAN 200, and we want to communicate between those PCs. If this is just a layer 2 switch, we're not able to do that. What we can do, however, is introduce a router to the topology, and we can connect to that router via a trunk. We're going to create an 802.1q trunk connection, and now when the PC in VLAN 100 wants to send traffic to the PC or the laptop in VLAN 200, what it's going to do is it's going to send traffic into its switch port. That switch port is going to then send that traffic via this trunk up to the router. The router is going to have an interface configured with sub-interfaces. Each sub-interface corresponds to a different VLAN on that trunk. And the router is going to be able to route between those sub-interfaces, send the traffic back down to the switch, and go out to VLAN 200. That's a router on a trunk topology. What might prevent this from happening? What might go wrong? Well, on screen we see some common troubleshooting targets. We see that we might have an encapsulation issue. Encapsulation has to be set correctly on the switch. It has to be set correctly on the router as well. Also, the router, it does not dynamically form a trunk. We should not be relying on dynamic trunk protocol. And that means we should go into the switch and hard code the configuration to be a trunk. Also, we might have a VLAN pruned off of the trunk. The switch does not allow that VLAN traffic on a trunk, for example. Maybe a VLAN that's on the switch that we're trying to route to or from, it's not even configured. That could be an issue. We have to have corresponding VLANs configured on the router. We go into sub-interface configuration mode and we say you belong to this VLAN. And also, remember, a .1q trunk has a native VLAN. That's a VLAN that is untagged. We want to make sure that we indicate the correct native VLAN on both the switch and the router. And also, those router sub-interfaces, they have to have an IP address that belongs and corresponds to the appropriate VLAN.